Hi guys, so tonight I wanted to talk about how parents are so tired all the time. I feel like I am exhausted all the time. I just put the boys to bed. They're actually not even quite asleep yet. And then I came into my room and I'm like, you know what, I am so tired. And like all of the thoughts of how tired I always am, like really came into my head. So that's why sitting in bed. Um, and I figured I would just film this while I had it all fresh in my brain. I feel like I've had a lot of these like sit down chats this week. But anyways, I feel like when before I had kids, I was a nanny and I worked during the day, I did the overnights. I mean, I did it all. I would work 12, 14-hour days during the day, and then I'd have a few hours off, and then I'd go work like anywhere from an 8 to a 12-hour shift overnight, and then I would do it over and over again. And I don't know how, but I was never this tired. I mean, I would, our overnights, because when I was working as a nanny, you could get a nap here and there. So, I mean, wasn't like super, it's not like I was running, ragged. I did never felt this tired. And even when I had newborns, I was not this tired. Even when I had both of the boys, I don't feel like I was this tired. I was very overwhelmed and I felt tired, but that was more the postpartum depression that I think was causing it. But this is like a totally different state of exhaustion. I feel like for the past probably good 6 months, I have felt this way. I am never fully rested. And when I am rested, like if I get a full night's sleep, I wake up the next day and yeah, I'm pretty good for like the morning, and then the afternoon I crash, and it's almost worse than if I had interrupted sleep. And by interrupted sleep, I mean my boys sleep. I rarely have to get up with them in the middle of the night. I mean, if it is, it's usually because they're sick or maybe somebody has to pee or had an accident. But I mean, those are very few and far between. By getting up in the middle of the night, it's usually me. I'm like up at 2 a.m. and I'm like wide awake, and it's like, oh great, you went to bed at 10. Like I need more sleep than that. But then those days where I'm up or I get interrupted sleep, I actually feel better during the day, and I actually am way more productive. It makes no sense. And this week I've really noticed it because I have been sick. I've had like this cold, which thankfully today has kind of lifted a little, which was great because all week I have felt so dizzy. It has just been horrible. I literally have done the bare minimum. Like I cooked like very easy meals. I really didn't clean. Today I had so much laundry. I think I ended up doing like 4 loads of laundry because I just hadn't gotten to it all week. It was just one of those weeks where you're just so done. But it really made me think, like there was one night, I think it was like Monday night, he is so smart and is learning so much at school, which is fantastic, and don't get me wrong, I want to help him in any way. But for 45 minutes straight, we did the alphabet. Like, literally just kept repeating the alphabet so he could do his letters. And then we did his numbers for a little bit, and it was like, by the end, I was so emotionally drained. It was crazy. And I'm like, every time he would get the letters right, he was so excited for himself, and I got excited too. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is part of the reason why I'm so drained. Having a child with a special need of any kind is draining, and for me, and I mean for us, it's autism. I mean, that's obviously what we're dealing with. We're dealing with autism when we're dealing with an extremely hyperactive child. Actually, when we went to the doctor for the autism to get the official diagnosis, he actually told us that Jeffrey is extremely active, or hyper, I should say. Like on the scale, I think it was anything above a 60 is considered extremely active, and Jeffrey was a 75, and I was like, Jesus. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, and I'm sorry if my phone is shaking. I actually am. I have you guys like I have my arms like on my legs to hold you up because I didn't feel like getting the tripod. But yeah, so all this time where I've been thinking, man, it's just because Jeffrey's, because they're boys, that's why they have so much energy, that's why I'm always so tired. It's like, no, he's overly active and overly hyper, and school's actually really helped with that, which is awesome. But I mean, we could still go to the park for a couple hours, and then still has way too much energy. It's almost like it gives him more energy. It's crazy. But when you like the autism, it's so draining, and it's not that because of his quirks. I mean, yeah, sometimes, like I said, the 45 minutes of doing the alphabet over and over, yeah, it was a lot, but it's just, you're emotionally drained because you're constantly thinking, okay, how's he going to do in this situation? How are we going to do this? Like, I don't know, some of you saw on Facebook, I posted about how we're going to see Santa and how some of the malls, actually all around the country, are having Santa, what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't even think. It's called Caring Santa, where they're having special times for families with children with special needs to come, and you actually have like a reservation. So you're not standing in line waiting to see Santa. You actually have a time, and he is going to be very sensitive to what your child needs and to help get the best picture they can. And I feel like that's so awesome, because I was so stressed about thinking about going to do Santa, because I'm like, oh my god, the mall itself is like a sensory overload, like no other. I mean, it is for me, never mind for Jeffrey. And then the crowds are crazy, but I really wanted to do Santa this year, so when Jeffrey's teacher showed us this, I was like, oh my god, we have to do this. So we are going to do that, so that's great. But like next week we're going to see my in-laws, so that's a long weekend away. So it's like, okay, we gotta, how's Jeffrey gonna do? I'm sure, he's that much older. We haven't gone and got a long time. Like, I don't think we've been to their house since May, June? It's been a while. So, I mean, it's been a while. So he's that much older, and I'm really hoping it'll be fine. I'm sure it will, but like any event, I'm just like, okay, how's it gonna go? We're hosting Thanksgiving this year. I'm like, hoping he'll be fine. It's just with friends, who are extremely sensitive and understanding to our situation. So I know it'll be fine. We'll be in our environment, so he'll be great. But it's just like, okay, I'm cooking this whole meal, and I know I'm probably gonna have to cook something else for Jeffrey because he won't eat it. So it's just that kind of stress. It's just you're emotionally just drained. It's just so draining. I mean, granted, he's doing fantastic school and everything is getting easier. It's just the mental part is not getting any easier, and I think it's just really hard. And with my husband traveling a lot, that's making me more tired because there's so much more I have to do. And then my mom's traveling. We're actually taking her to the airport in the morning, so it's like, okay, I'm not going to have that extra set of hands, when I need it. I mean, I'll be fine. I can do it myself, but it's just like a lot. You're just always tired. And I feel like parents always say, oh, we're tired. And there was this meme floating around. It was like, when your friends who don't have kids go, oh, I'm so tired, and you're like laughing like crazy because you're like, you have no idea what tired is. And it's so true. I mean, I'm so tired right now, but yet I don't feel tired. Like, I know I'm not going to be able to fall asleep for probably another hour or so. So it's like, right, I'm exhausted, but I can't fall asleep because my mind's going to be racing. And I actually keep a pad of paper and a pen next to my bed because, seriously, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think of something. And if I don't write it down, it's going to drive me bananas. And then I won't be able to sleep. So it's like, I have to leave it there so I can just put it down. So it's like, okay, I'll deal with it in the morning. Because that's how my brain is. And maybe I'm crazy and maybe nobody knows what I'm talking about, but I know I have met people who completely understand and are like, they're just always so tired. So, yeah. So I just want to talk about how tired moms are. It's just nuts. But now I'm going to probably stay up for another hour and not be able to fall asleep. But I hope everyone gets a good night's sleep.